Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live on a Sunday, which means it is time for Soul Sunday. For those of you who are new to the broadcasts, welcome. We are a group of people that get together like an extended family, and we support each other through good times and not so good. And we do 3 different broadcasts a week. On Friday lunchtime, we do a skills broadcast where we learn something new, hopefully. On Friday evenings, we do a laughter one. And then here on Sundays, we do what we call the Soul Sunday one. We just calm things down quite a bit. And why do I do 3 completely different broadcasts? It's because I believe those 3 things are the essence of being able to cope. And here at Dear Mama Sal, we are all about coping with what's going on in our lives. So number 1, if you keep learning, you will cope better. Number 2, if you keep laughing, you will cope better. And number 3, if you can ground yourself as we do on Soul Sundays, you will cope a lot better. I want to thank Jody and Isabel. Thank you both for being here. By the way, Isabel, I really would love to have permission to quote your comment about your experiment, because I thought it was just charming. And by the way, Isabel, I'm never too busy to hear from you. So please don't think that you can't write to me and tell me stuff. It's just like, I'm delighted that you did it the way you did it, but it's just like, please don't think that. Part of what makes me have the energy to keep on going is hearing from you guys. And for those of you who were there helping us calm Nyasha down as the tropical storm headed towards Tobago, I just wanted to thank you all as well, because as you will have seen from the comments that she made, what we did helped her a great deal. And that is really what we wanted to do. And as you know, we actually gave her, though she didn't probably know it at the time, we probably gave her the best advice she can have for about a class 4 hurricane, right? Not a tropical storm. But the thing is this, that if you are, what is the word? Yeah, well, as she said, if you are prepared, not scared, then it doesn't seem as bad. And I can assure you that, because it was just a tropical storm and it was heavy rains, but that didn't mean that the window wouldn't break. True? Because we don't know. Does she have double glazing? Does she have single glazing? How many years have those window panes been in that house? We never know. So anything is possible. Knowledge is power, exactly. And so today, what I wanted to talk about, because I think it's truly important to us all, is our sense of community. And I'm hoping that you all felt wonderful when you realized that, we had helped her. And that we also helped Isabel. I want to just quote you what Isabel had to say. I think you've probably all read what Nyasha had to say. Hi, Jeannie, good to see you. She was saying, for myself, I'm so happy today, even with a sore throat. I hope your sore throat's a bit better, Isabel. Mama Sal gave me the courage to do something I wanted to do for more than 15 years because I thought I was not able to. Her creperie, yes, my crepe making thing that I was using for other purposes, really pushed me. And I said, wow, I can do this. I made 2 Turkish dishes that I loved so much when I went to Turkey. I made it in the morning and it works. One is called lahmacun. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Lahmacun, maybe. And the other is a Turkish pizza. And they look wonderful. This is what she did. And what is on there? If it's Turkish, it's probably made from a couscous base. Lahmacun. Okay, thank you. Yeah, And Jody, yes, of course, Isabel's message made your day and made you smile so much. And that's why I've always said, it just takes one person to have enjoyed a broadcast, and I know it's worth doing another one, right? And so here we are going with, I hope, what you will find as some really magical quotes about community. Jeannie's saying, I was also taken by Sal's crepe maker. I bought one. I've made several delicious crepes. Yay. I'm now making flatbreads and wraps with it. That's my next thing. Mother Teresa said, I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. So how many of you understand that is what we all can do? Whether I am prepared to go live and risk all the things going wrong as I cook something, or as some of you would have seen, showing you how to make those popsicles that are nearly 2/3 less calories than the ones I normally have. When I do it live and I take that risk, you all know it can't be that difficult. Sal can do it. That's my thinking. And Isabel obviously took one look at it and went, wow, I can do that. And of course you can. The main thing, Isabel's saying that pizza is made with meat. It's meat with vegetable blend and spices with tomato paste. Yeah, so it sounds wonderful. So do you all understand that? That we alone cannot change the world, but we can throw a pebble into the water as we did for Nyasha and help her. And she in turn will take that learning and help others. How many of you have already taken stuff that you've learned here on Dear Mama Sal and shared it with people that you know? You see, that's what I think is so magical. My job is just to drop in the pebbles. And I'm pretty sure that you guys will pass those pebbles on to other people. Isabel saying, yes, so much. After a sprinkle of lemon and Italian parsley, you roll it. Oh, that sounds so good. So it ends up being like a tortilla almost. Yes, Jody says, I am also delighted to hear that the crepe demonstration was encouraging. I enjoyed it so much myself. Yeah, and you know something? It amazes me, especially in the summer now. And, I don't know about you, but those fresh raspberries and cream on top, that really did it for me. They were wonderful. I thought this was an interesting quote about community. It was said that one can acquire everything in solitude except character. You actually need to interact with other people to develop your character. Interesting. Hi, Jan. Wow. You've definitely dropped a pebble or two through the years. Yes, absolutely. And Jeannie's saying, I've done that. And talking about my friend in British Columbia and quoting me. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And I talk about you as well, Jeannie. And it's just like, what an incredible job you've done, holding the bits together through this. For those of you who might not know and are joining the broadcast or listening to it and we don't know, I just want to let you know that Jeannie and York, their house burnt down. So everything that they loved, just about everything, was gone. And they are in the process of living in a hotel while their house gets rebuilt. Can you imagine that? You go out one day and everything's fine, and you come back that evening and everything's gone. Can you imagine that? What should young people do with their lives today? Many things, obviously, but the most daring thing is to create stable communities. in which the terrible disease of loneliness can be cured. I have said many, many times, I am so grateful I live in the internet age, because I do believe that if you have the internet, you have no reason to be lonely. If you are lonely while you have the internet, it means you have not bothered to turn on the internet and talk to somebody. You know what I mean? It's just like, but this whole sense of community, you will see the video of, what happened with my wall unit and how my neighbors came to help me get it here. And then the disaster that happened, you will see all of that. But, that sense of community was wonderful. And yesterday, Yvonne came to visit me, and you all know Yvonne is my very dear friend and was my tenant for close on 20 years. And she came to visit me, and she was helping me. I've got double windows here, and I needed to get the one window out so I could get into the crud that was behind it, and just clean it out before the winter came. And also to seal, reseal the places where the caulking had gone. Not my greatest talent, but the more I do it, the better I will become. And I was thinking about the fact we really have felt a difference, obviously, with the pandemic, but we don't need to be lonely. We don't need to be. We may choose to be. That's a whole different story. So like anything in life, if you don't put yourself out there, don't be surprised if nothing comes back. And Yvonne and I were busy working with the windows. I suddenly realized that I needed a metal file. Hi, ML. And ML joins us from Tunisia. And, I know I've probably got one somewhere in my garage, not the garage, but the big storage shed I've got here. But, there's no way I'm going to find it. So I just literally walked down to one of the guys that had helped me with the unit. And I said, sorry to bother you, but is there any way that you happen to have a metal file I could borrow? And sure enough, he gave me a choice of metal files. And I took two, and borrowed them, and took them back very soon afterwards. And he said, did you get it fixed? And I said, yes. And he said, I would have come to help you. I said, I know that. I said, but you're dealing with two women who are pretty one-minded to get it done before we call the man. Do any of you relate to that? It's just like, we will call a man if we have to. Yes, isn't that interesting? Jeannie's saying that also the Knights of Columbus are having a barbecue chicken dinner to go on Saturday night, and they are delivering to us. Isn't that beautiful? I'm actually having a street. I live in this little community, and we have this little small street. I'm having a street happy hour on my gravel front here on Wednesday. Bring your own chair, bring your own drink, bring your own appies, and let's meet one another. It was said that heroes do not jump tall buildings or stop bullets with an outstretched hand. They didn't wear boots and capes. They bled, they were bruised, and their superpowers were as simple as listening and loving. Heroes were ordinary people who knew that even if their own lives was if their own life was impossibly knotted, they could untangle somebody else's. And maybe that one act could lead somebody to rescue you and put you right back on track. And Yash's asking, am I having a get together or something? I'm having a community happy hour. social distancing will be applied. Everybody will bring their own chair, their own drink, their own food. But we're having a happy hour on Wednesday. So I'll be pleased to show you pictures of that or report back on it. John Dean said, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of a continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, and will, as if a promontory were, as well as a manna of thy friend, or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." I woke up early for me this morning to watch John Lewis take his last journey across the bridge in Selma. Now, I am old enough to have been alive and to see the original crossing of the bridge, and it gives me goosebumps, at Selma, and to see the Freedom Riders get attacked for just walking over the bridge. That's all they did. They were totally peaceful, and they got attacked, a bit like some people are getting attacked at the moment. And it was just so amazing all those years ago, seeing it happen. And because I was there when the original happened, today I decided I was going to get up and join John Lewis on his final journey across that bridge. And there was something about doing that that felt good to me. He helped change history, and I am thankful for that. And I heard that Olivia de Havilland passed today. She was 104, the actress, for those of you who don't know. She was 104, and I keep thinking of all the movies she was in. And, she shaped part of my life as well, in a different way. Wendell Berry said, "People use drugs, legal and illegal, because their lives are intolerably painful or dull. They hate their work and find no rest in their leisure. They are estranged from their families and their neighbors. It should tell us something. In healthy societies, drug use is celebrative, convivial, and occasional, whereas among us it is lonely, shameful, and addictive. We need drugs, apparently, because we have lost each other." Yeah, Jeannie's also mentioning Regis Philbin passed this weekend. And if ever there was a man that brought so many smiles and had the incredible ability to be a superstar in his own right, and yet make everybody that watched him feel that he was their friend. And, I believe that somebody left a comment, and I can't remember who it was, and it said, he was David Letterman's eternal backup. If anybody else failed to come to the broadcast that they were meant to be on, they'll go, "Phone Regis, he'll come." And he did regularly. Yes, Jeannie's saying he made us smile every morning for so many years. Absolutely. And what a lovely gift. What a lovely gift to give to the world, that you can make people smile. Now, how many of you relate to this? It says, Adele Hoodless said, "Educate a boy and you educate an individual. Educate a girl and you educate a community. And it's really funny because I've noticed even in my small community, the guys are very chatty and very helpful, but it's the women that stay and find out more about each other. The men don't do that as much. Have you noticed? They want to know very superficial things if they want to know anything at all. And yet the women, want to talk and find out more about you and tell you more about themselves. And that is, I think, part of a wonderful gift that women give to communities. Anita Franco said, I know there is strength in differences between us. I know that there is comfort where we overlap. And think about that, right? We each of us, one of the things you've heard me say is the reason that I want to get to know who my neighbors are is because two things. I want to know who I can trust in an emergency and, who I will want to help if they have an emergency. Not that I wouldn't help anybody, but, some people I'd want to keep more special tabs on. For example, when I went down to go and borrow the metal files, I passed another neighbor on the way down, and I knew that he'd been in hospital for some tests. So, I stopped and asked him how he was doing. Hi, Sandy. Asked him how he was doing. And I noticed he was unpacking his car, and I knew that he'd been in for some tests, heart tests. And I said, should you be doing that, young man? Young man, he's my age. And no, I'm fine. I said, I didn't ask if you were fine. I asked, should you be doing that? No, I'm fine. I went, I don't know about you people, but I can hear a quack. A quack is when somebody ducks the question. And so when I was coming back from getting the files, I noticed that the trunk of the car was still open and there was still stuff there. Well, you know what I did. I picked stuff up whilst balancing the files, and I put them on his deck. And then he came back and caught me. What are you doing? I said, helping. I hope you'll forgive me. And then I left. And it's just like, isn't that what community is? And by the way, for those of you who don't know Jody, our admin, there are times when I really don't like her. Jody, you have me now addicted to vanilla powder on various things. And it's expensive. I'm going to have to learn how to make my own. Yes, you're saying, Sal, everybody would be happy to know you. I'm a mile away. You're a lot more than a mile away. And if I were close, we'd become friends. I can sense your heart. It's beautiful and caring. Well, Nyasha, on a good day, how many of you know that you don't want to meet the other side of me? You know what I mean? And it was funny because I was joking with somebody here recently, and somebody said to me, I've got a feeling I don't want to meet the other side of you. I said, nope. And so they were smart and they said, what brings it out? Tell me what brings it out. I need to know. And I said, betrayal, duplicity, it's being two-faced, not telling the truth. I've got a number of things that, you will see that part of me come screaming out. Not screaming literally, but I switch very quickly if I hit any of those things. I keep working on trying not to, but it's my stuff, right? We all have. Do you all understand that? For all the wonderful things that Jody is, she's got another side, don't you? For all the brilliance of Lionel, her husband, you know he's got another side. And when you can embrace both sides, that's when you have a congruent life. When you can admit that, you're not just a nice person. And I do love the compliment. Thank you so much, by the way, that I am kind and loving. That's what a wonderful compliment. But you know that when my other side comes out, that's not what you see. Luckily, it doesn't come out too much. Yeah, Jodi's saying when her other side comes out, she says, I'm an absolute terror. Okay, so Jodi, help us understand what triggers the other part of you. Hi, Beth. Good to see you, by the way. And Beth is saying, lol, LOL. When I help a male customer at work, his first thought is that I'm flirting with him. Yes, isn't it sad? Jeannie's saying that because of you, well, I was able to tell a women's group what I need, a cutting board, hairdryer, mug wrap. Yes, you see, that is asking for help is not weakness, Jeannie. You need to know that. If asking for help is a sign of strength, and when you have a women's group who gets their jollies out of helping people and you don't tell them what you need, you are denying them the happiness they get from giving. It is so difficult for people to understand that. When you deny that of people, then you deny them the joy of giving. And most of them have got far too much stuff anyway. They're glad to get rid of it, Jeannie. And Yesha's saying, well, I don't know the other side of you, Sal. But Sal, everyone has that side once in a while. I must admit, I too have it, but I don't like it. I quite agree, Nyasha. But it's like I am a human being. I'm not a superhero of any sort. I'm a human being, so I have some really good qualities. And some, not so much. You see, you know how I can be really funny with my one-liners sometimes if you get me going? You know how I can hurt people with my one-liners sometimes if they upset me? You see, it's a two-edged sword. Jodi says, I am so impatient sometimes. And pain brings out my less than desirable aspects of my personality when I can't get it under control. Yes, of course. Seeing suffering in others brings so much frustration to me, too. Yeah. And, that's a self-inflicted wound, Jodi. I'm going to repeat that so that we all understand. Do you all understand Jodi's comments? Seeing suffering in others brings so much frustration to me. No, you cause yourself so much frustration because you cannot compartmentalize other people's suffering. And that doesn't make you a bad person, Jodi. It just makes you one, it's a bit of your pretzel learning, right? Which is, if you remember, that was the one comment that Judy made of me when we were down in Los Angeles one year and we were going to VidCon. And just before we all went to VidCon, I was checking on the mail and somebody wrote to me a horror story. It really was a horror story. You guys understand that over and above what I do, I'm also helping people that you've never heard of. And I got this horror story that came in and the tears were running out of my eyes as I was reading it. And Judy said, what's happening? I said, no, I'm just reading something from one of my viewers. You might want to read it. And she read it and tears were running out of her eyes. And she said, Sal, how do you cope with this? How do you get letters like this and not be devastated? And I said, it is my job to stay above the pain. How can I help somebody if I get sucked into the pain? My job is to hear it. You can imagine with the tropical storm coming towards Nyasha, if I had got panicky with Nyasha, we would not have been able to help her. And Nyasha saying, Sal really brings out the best in others. I too was shy, but now I'm more outspoken. Next month, the elections are in our country. She lives in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm lobbying for vital medical. Wow, good for you, Nyasha. Emil saying, for me, I don't show my sadness to people. I'm all the time laughing and having fun with them and show them that I look like I'm strong, but I'm not. Emil, there are so many of us that would relate to them. One of the things that I have said to people is, you never know how people hurt inside until you get to know them. Because we put on these incredible masks, don't we? These ones that, everybody thinks they got these perfect lives, and it's not true. And Beth said it's okay to get sucked in. You just have to be able to get yourself out of it when needed. Yes, Beth, that is the difference. And Jeannie's saying, Amel, you have inner strength. Yes, and she is improving it all the time. And Jody is saying, it's so important to remember that dissolving into the frustration does absolutely nothing but cause more problems. I can't help anyone if I'm overcome with frustration and anger. I really do get that now. Yes, I know you do, Jody. And this is why I've always said that when I try to help somebody, I try to go almost out of body, and I'm here looking down on the problem. I don't want to be all caught up here. And what I try to do is to visualize when Nyasha was asking us about how did she stay safe in that storm. I don't know about the rest of you, but I took myself into her bedroom. In my mind, I have no idea what it looks like. But I went into my bedroom, into the bedroom of my mind and said, what is dangerous in a bedroom in a storm like this? And the window was the only thing that really worried me. And the possibility of the roof coming off. And so therefore, the safest place to be was next to the bed. Because if a window shattered, if you were down next to the bed, you were likely to get less of the impact of that happening. And also, if the roof went off, being next to the bed would also protect you from something falling, because it would fall onto the bed and not onto you. So I think it's really important for us all to understand that we don't have to be perfect. That was the lecture that was the speech that I used to give around the world, was you don't have to be perfect. See, you don't have to be perfect to make a difference, to throw that pebble into the pond and create a ripple to help other people. And so I am pretty certain when I asked Jody if she would be my admin, I am pretty certain her reaction would have been, no, I don't know what to do. I'm not good enough to do that. And yet I'm pretty sure I made the right choice. And I'm pretty sure you think so too. It's a Jody day today. There is immense power when a group of when a group of people with similar interests get together and work towards the same goal. Yeah, Jody's saying when I asked her to be my admin, she said, "Yep, you got that 100% spot on." Who, me? Nyasha saying, Beth, it's not worth it to get sucked into other people's drama because it can bring you down mentally and it's not good for you. I've learned now it's all about ourselves. not about the other. Yes, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean, it's like if I get sucked into the emotional trauma that somebody else is in, I cannot help them, as Jody so correctly quoted, right? You cannot help somebody if you are in the same emotional state that they're in. Oh, Jeannie's saying that her dog Misty gets new medicine, hopefully tomorrow, to help her stomach. Please say a prayer for her. She is stoic, and that means strong, for those of you who don't know what that is. She is stoic, but not well right now. Her protein level is down, but her liver is okay. We're glad to hear that. We don't like it when our fur babies are not well. Oliver Sacks said, we speak not only to tell other people what we think, but to tell ourselves what we think. Speech is part of thought. Again, that is something that I think women are very aware of. Women talk through their problems to find solutions, right? And they can be talking all over the place and not even about the problem. They can be, how many of you have been on the broadcast and we've been talking about something and you suddenly get a brainwave about something completely different and you go, wow, I'm so glad I listened to that because now I've got the answer. Beth said, I trained my whole life to eliminate everybody. So when I get sucked in, I have the skill to get sucked right out of it. Yes, it is a skill, Beth. I agree with you. And it's not that we don't care. It's just we can't help you if we're in your place. You know, Beth, when I first met you and I asked you that terrifying question, which is, are you committing suicide by starvation? It took everything in my being not to get tied into where you were, because you see, I understood how that could happen. I really did. I think you know that. I understood how that could happen. And that you could think that you were not good enough or whatever. And the amazing thing is, I am so glad that we found you when you did, because your contribution has been priceless. Niasha said, Sal, I wrote a comment thanking each and everyone for praying for my country and my family during the passage of the storm. It warmed my heart so much to know that you all cared. Yes, and we did. And Beth is saying, my problem is not staying isolated once I get back to my old happy place. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yes, and Niasha's saying, I must say, all of you were in my head telling me to stay calm. And for that, I thank you. Yeah, how many of you have heard me in your, sitting on your shoulder going, excuse me? Okay, so Amel is saying, if I repeat my year, I will fail again. Oh, wait a minute. Let me read the first part. My mom's obligated me to study something I'm not good enough in. But you see the result. I failed, and I am still in shock and scared. If I repeat my year, I will fail again. Okay, so here is the thing, Amel. Are you studying this subject to please your mother? I cannot tell you how many people I have worked with that problem. How many people were studying to be doctors because their parents wanted them to be doctors, not because they wanted to be. And the thing is this, Amel, is she paying the cost of the education? Because it is really important. You're saying that you can't change it now, but that is not totally true, Amel. If you really don't like whatever this subject is, I would have a very serious discussion with your mom and say, I worked so hard to try and pass it and I can't. I am prepared to carry on if that's what you want me to do, but I may not pass it again. Do you want me to keep doing this, or do you want me to be happy? Jeannie's saying, Emil, do not take failure and make it huge. When you fail, you must get right back up and look around. Ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want? Yes, I think, though, Jeannie, maybe that's not what Emil is saying. It isn't about the fact that she's failing that is her issue. The issue is she doesn't like the subject, and that is why she's failing. So, I look at it and say, we all do things that we don't like. So, Emil, here is the question. Do you not like it because you're not good at it? Or do you not like it because it has absolutely no interest to you whatsoever? All right, now Jeannie is using words that I have an issue with. Jeannie's saying, so she must do what is best for her. I don't like the must word, Jeannie. You know that. She doesn't have to do anything. It's not for us to tell her what she must do. All right, so it's a subject that is not easy for you. What is the subject, Amel? Which is the one that you failed? You didn't pass? And Emil, you remember my story about becoming a radio ham way back in the day. The first time I failed it and the second time I passed it, but I passed it by as much as I failed it the first time. The feeling was incredibly different. Okay, so you were studying sciences overall, or is just science on its own? And is this, at what level are we speaking here, Amel? Is this still at school? Is it at college level? Let's get some idea around this. Yes, exactly, Jeannie. That I agree with you on that side. Is she doing this for somebody else? Is she trying to please others and hurting herself? Yes, I totally agree with you on that issue. Life is short. Switch it up and show your mom how hard you're trying, thriving in something else. She maybe doesn't know how you feel about it. That's what I think as well. It's not just science, it's math and physical. Okay, so are you not passing on any of these subjects? You didn't pass on math either? So to me, I think it would be a really good idea to have a very serious talk. And, maybe what you need is a tutor. Maybe you need somebody to help you. And that doesn't make you stupid. That means you need somebody who can spend more time with you to help make this stuff make sense. Yes, Beth is saying that, right. I got a private tutor for math. Now I kind of enjoy it. Yes. I want to tell you something that I didn't do well in math at school, but boy, I want to tell you something. I've been responsible for multi-millions of dollars of money, and people have been amazed at my math ability. But, I wasn't interested at it at school at all. Okay, so Emil is saying, I don't know how to explain because our study in Tunisia is not like any other country. Okay, can I just get, I don't know how old you are, Emil. I think you are in your 20s. Am I right in that? By the way, Emil, I want to compliment you on your incredible use of the English language. You really do need to know. You were 19 on December the 20th. Okay. Jody, can we make a note so we can get that into the database? Please. Emil, so what are you studying to become? What is it that you want to become? Interesting. Beth is saying, I am lacking just one class to have graduated with an account degree. It's public speaking. Okay. Oh, okay. So you will be 20 in December. Okay. All right. So you don't know what it is you want to do. So you're still getting, that's what I was trying to find out, Emil. So you're not trying to get something towards a particular course that you have to have. You're just doing general education at this moment. Yeah, Jeannie's saying I had terrible time with high school algebra. I had to go to summer school and had wonderful summer school teacher and did well on algebra too. The difference was how I was taught. Yeah. And so that is the point that I'm trying to say to ML, that she may need a tutor to help her. And that's the conversation I would have with my mom. I would say, Mom, I'm really struggling in science. Can you help me find somebody who can teach me so that I can do better? It's interesting. Beth said, I start sweating, shaking, and can't form words. I just can't do that class. Beth, you know, I did that for 20 years of my life. Do you want to know that every speech I ever gave, I started by sweating, shaking? But the difference was I knew the first 3 minutes of what I was going to say because those were the worst 3 minutes of a speech. And you know something, Beth, you've heard me say this before, I'm sure. What I've always said to people when I've been teaching them public speaking, you know, we all get butterflies in our stomach. That is quite normal. The people who get to be public speakers can make the butterflies fly in formation. Now, Beth, I know there's nothing cowardly about you. I know that you have taken on incredibly courageous things head on. So I know that your problem with public speaking is not about courage. It is about what you do to yourself when the butterflies attack you. And so one of the things that I learned to do was to really know this is the first 3 minutes. Once I got past the first 3 minutes, I was fine. Hi, Alexis. Alexis is saying, do you believe the core of a person can change? My boyfriend and I are very different people, which causes lots of arguments. I just don't know if this is fixable or whether I should move on. You know, the very core of a person, it depends what you're seeing. Are you seeing the very core of the person that you love? Because if so, I don't think you would want to change that. Or is it some parts of that person that you would like to change? And, you know, to me, I would say that whenever we want to change somebody, then we are the problem. And so, Alexis, my heart breaks for you because it's always so sad when you're in a relationship where there is a lot of conflict. How long have you been in that relationship? May I ask that? And by the way, thank you for popping in. And if there's anything that you don't want me to talk about out loud, Alexis, just tell me, but just ask me not to repeat it, and I will be happy to do that. All right, so there are just parts of him I wish would change. He's not going to change. Get that really solid. I'm really in love with him. We've been together for 1.5 years. Okay, so Alexis, let me ask you, what is it that's upsetting you? Let's see if we can get to some reality here for you. And it's big hug. Thank you for being here. I've always said it's amazing who is listening that we don't know. And I'm just so happy to see you. Thank you. You see, I spent my life trying to change people. And I now realize that that is not fair. All right. It is not fair to try and change people. We need to love who they are, lock, stock, and barrel. And I don't know anybody that's in a relationship that likes the other person 100% of the time. Right? That is asking for a little bit too much. So you understand. So maybe the issue is not with him. Maybe the issue is about your flexibility, that you cannot agree to disagree. Do you find yourself always wanting to be right? And, they're sort of, and that's what we work on here. And as Beth said, compromise is the key to relationships. For instance, he's a big penny pincher, okay? So he spends pretty much no money on me. He's a very serious person, and I am more fun and relaxed. Okay, so here's the question that we work on, Alexis. If he were to spend money on you, would you feel more loved? Is that what you're saying? If he bought you lavish gifts, would you think he loves you more? And part of me is hearing a gift would be a good start. I don't know if I got that right, but that's what I heard in my head. So to me, this is about all right. So Jeannie's saying after York's husband's stroke and many seizures, some basics have changed in him, right? I am not a great compromiser, but I do it because I adore my husband in sickness and in health. Yes. And I am certain that it's not easy when you love somebody and part of their basic being has changed. That is not easy. But that's what love is. Love is being able to see past that, right? So Alexis, one of the things that we do here and we talk about here is not how do we change other people, but what do we need to change to be able to be happy? Alexis saying, yeah, you make a good point. I'm not as stupid as I look, Alexis. So you understand, and if you've got somebody that is very tight with money and you spend a lot of money, your idea of love is somebody who spends money on you. Yeah, that is difficult. But who is right? I don't think it's about who is right on this one. I don't believe that his love for you can only be shown in the presents that he gives you. And if you want fancy stuff, then earn the money and buy them for yourself. Wow, isn't that interesting? Alexa's saying, I remember watching you right when you started YouTube channel, by the way. Wow, that was amazing. You used to help me years and years ago. Well, it's lovely to, you know, Alexis, one of the things that I've always said is my job is to be consistent. My job is to keep coming here, on Fridays and on Sundays, so that you know that whatever's happening in your life, if you need me, you know where to find me, and you know it's either going to be on Friday or Sunday, or that you can write to me anytime you want to. So thank you for proving the point. But you know, Alexis, this is the whole thing, right? I cannot think of anybody that's in this room that has a perfect relationship. But I'm pretty sure. Can I repeat that, Alexis? Because that's so funny. I could hear that in my head, as I was telling you one thing, I could hear your reply before you gave it to me. Is it okay to repeat it? Okay, so that I was correct in my judgment here. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big spender, but geez, a date once in a while would be nice. Nothing expensive, just a date. Yes, so why don't you do it? Don't wait for him. Why don't you do it? Because you love him enough to do it. Yes, you see, and Aniasha saying, Alexa, I'm so glad you shared your story with Sal, because from what I have read, it's an unfortunate how depression starts. And Sal is great at teaching and giving us tips on how to get rid of it and much more. Well, I just give tips on how I got rid of it. I'm not saying that everybody can. And Emil said, guys, I have someone who I spoke to just 2 weeks and said he loved me. I want to ask if it's true love, because I don't believe that, by the way. I haven't met him. He's just a family friend. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Thank you, Jen. I appreciate the contribution. I think it's difficult to say, if you've only met somebody and he's a family friend, how can it be true love, right? What is true love? Maybe we'll ask the question of the people that have been in relationships for a while. Can we get some feedback from you guys? I think he might like you. He might even be in lust, but I doubt it is true love. Right, so Alexa is saying, maybe I do the date night. That's a good idea. Exactly. Alexa, I always remember this chiropractor said to me, whenever you are frustrated with something, give it to somebody else. In other words, if you want to go on a date, then you organize the date and give the date to him. If you are frustrated because you're not getting, the right gifts, then buy him a gift. It's amazing how, but if you buy gifts in the expectation of return, you do know that you're going to be sorely disappointed. So, but I take those things now. Whenever I get frustrated like that, Alexis, one of the things I go is, okay, I can hear I'm getting frustrated. It means I need to do something. All right, so it's interesting. Emil is saying, but as he speaks, he really sounds that he's in love. Yes, it's possible, but I'm not sure if it's true love. Yeah. Emil saying, I met my husband 31 years ago. 4 weeks later, I was married. I felt immediately energized and happy. I knew he was the one. I can't explain it, but it was immediate for me. Yes, we have one of our viewers that used to be here, Sandy, and she said the same thing. So it is possible. All right, so Alexa's saying, wow, I've never thought of it that way. I'm just a really big gift giver. That's how I show that I love someone. Bingo. Now, you and Jody would have an incredible conversation, because Jody will tell you that one of her big obstacles was getting past expecting others to be as generous as she is. in kindness or whatever. And you see, what we think is that true love will look like the way I love people. No, it isn't. You would be amazed how many people are totally opposite. And Beth is saying, and within the first year of marriage, we had twin girls, instant family, all in the first year. Isn't that amazing? And Jody is saying, for me, it's making sure that Lionel's well-being is as important as my own. His health and his happiness mean everything to me. It's loving each other through the bad times, not just the fun ones. Yeah. And how many of you know that's what community is, right? That's what friendship is that you go through the good times and the bad. You don't just suck the goodness out of other people when you're having a tough time and then run away. No, when you got your feet on the ground, you stay and help other people that in the way that you were helped. Jeannie says, York and I have been married to others and divorced, and then we met. My mother adored him. It took me a bit longer, but after 9 months, we were engaged, and now we've been married 26 years plus. And ML says, Beth, God bless you and your family, inshallah. And inshallah is be with God, I think. Am I correct in that, ML? Did I get the translation correctly? Yes, and Alexis is saying, you make a good point. Maybe dating your opposite can work. I assure you, I would be in hell if I married somebody like me, Alexis, right? I need somebody who complements me, not mirrors me. All right? I need somebody who has strengths where I don't have them. That makes life a jigsaw puzzle that works. All right. I don't want somebody who's got my talents. How boring is that? I won't be able to show off. I don't want somebody who's got my talents. I want somebody with different talents. And, how many of you have heard me talk about Yvonne? And Yvonne is OCD and also brilliant in terms of memory. She has a photographic memory, definitely not my trait. And what I love about her is that, and our relationship as friends, is that I don't have to worry about remembering stuff, right? I just have to phone Yvonne. She'll know. I don't even bother anymore. So Alexis is saying, yeah, I wouldn't want to date somebody exactly like me. He's taught me a lot and brought out different parts of me that I never knew I had. Yes. So you don't want him to be perfect. You just need to teach him how to love you a bit better. Is that what I'm hearing? So can you imagine this conversation, Alexis, if I tried to tell somebody, now listen, I'd like you to demonstrate that you love me by buying me stuff. Right? Now, I want to tell you, most men would probably answer, what sort of stuff? See, men need to know what to do. You got to help them. They're men. All right, Jeannie's saying, I needed a kind man who was also smart and who reads. Got myself a fellow who can fix a lot and who knows so much about history. Yeah. And Alexis is saying, yes, I guess it comes down to communication. Alexis, doesn't every relationship come down to communication? I believe that the reason that I've got the friendships that I have is because, I can tell my truth to those people. I don't want them to be like me. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But I want them to love me for who I am. including my bad bits. All right, so Amel's saying, do you believe in traditional wedding or in love? Okay, so this is a cultural thing, Amel. In your culture, there's an awful lot of matchmaking done and arranged marriages. So it's very difficult for people in North America, for example, to really understand that that can work better than the Western way sometimes. I don't think I have a hard and fast rule of that, right? I personally think I would cause a lot of problem if somebody tried to arrange a marriage for me, but I haven't grown up in that culture, and that would be why. And Alexis is saying, the thing is, I don't even care about expensive gifts. Even him just buying me a drink while he's at the gas station is really sweet and thoughtful, but he just doesn't think about those things. Okay, Alexis, reward good behavior. So first of all, knowing that he's a man, let him know this would be a good thing to do, right? I'm going to call him George because I don't have a name. And I'd be saying, hey, George, the next time you go to the gas station, if you happen to think of me enough to buy me a slushie, you know that the reward would be great. You know what I mean? Because I would feel so loved. You see, if that's, maybe nobody's ever taught him what to do. Maybe he's only ever had to think of himself. There are people like that. So the communication is vital. By the way, if he ever walks in with a slushie, you better make a big deal about it. You know what I mean? Enough that he goes, wow, if I get that for a slushie, I wonder what would happen if, So I just think it's, what if he grew up with parents? You see, most of us, whether we like it or not, repeat what our parents taught us. So if he grew up in a family where nobody spent money on stupid things, yeah, you got to train him a little bit more. And we're here to help you, Alexis. Alexis is saying, the thing is, I don't even get it. Okay, got it. Yep. So we're here to help you. Have you ever read that incredible book, Men Are from Mars and Women from Venus, Alexis? If not, you might want to reread it. Or if you haven't read it, read it. And if you have read it, you maybe want to read it again. Because quite honestly, there is so much that is in there that is so relevant, I think. Emil's saying, yeah, it's true, Mama Sal. I see my mom do the same, the same things her father does. Yes, and that's what happens. We repeat what we grew up. Monkey see, monkey do is the expression. And Alexis says, yes, and his dad doesn't give his mom any gifts. You got it, Alexis. Now you're beginning to see, you're getting smart now. I'm sure that's why he is the way he is. You've never read the book, but I'm going to have to read it. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. Alexis, you may choose to. Or get it on audiobook. So when you walk, you can listen to it. I want to tell you, that book made me laugh so much because it was so true. And really, the bottom line is, if you don't help them, they will never understand. It's interesting, Beth saying, my husband and I put things in our Amazon cart as a hint that I want what I want or need. We end up buying each other's stuff when we see the items on the Amazon cart. It's a thing that we do. Absolutely. Something, Alexis, what my sister used to do, she used to write her wish list on the fridge, right? So every time he went to the fridge to grab a beer, he would see the things, he never had to think twice about what to buy her for her birthday or Christmas, right? There was always a whole list of stuff on the fridge. And as she got it, she just crossed it off. But she said, it worked so well because he was a man. He needed help. So good night to Nyasha. I hope you sleep well, honey. And we are so glad that you made it through the tropical storm. By the way, that information that we gave you, Nyasha, will go to Category 1, Category 2, even to Category 3 hurricane. You understand what I'm saying? We had you over-prepared so you wouldn't be scared. But you know what I would do now is just go, I know what to do when a big storm comes in. And well done. I'm so proud of you. And thank you for keeping us informed, because, a lot of viewers were genuinely concerned about you. So Amel is asking, Alexis, do you give your husband a gift? I think it's his boyfriend, Amel. I know that's a bit picky, but I think that's what she said. But you understand the principle. If you don't tell people what you want, if you haven't got the courage, if one of the things that I find so amazing is that Yvonne, who's my bestie now, Yvonne will ask me every year what I want for my birthday. She'll ask me. She doesn't. Why? Because she knows that I would far rather tell her what I want than get a gift that is of no use to me. And the thing is, it's normally a lot cheaper. So she asked me, what do I want for my birthday? And I told her. She hadn't the fuckest idea what it was. So I had to explain it to her. But, I sent her the link in Amazon so that she can get it. Well, Nyasha, it's our pleasure to be here for you. And thank you for telling us the truth about how scared you were. It made it possible for us to help you. Hi, Emma. Is it my birthday? Not until next month, and at the end of next month, nearly, Emma. So, okay. All right, so Amel's saying, so if he doesn't give you anything, I guess you don't do that too, right, MamaSal? No, I'm a great believer that I do whatever I want to do. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. If I want to buy you a gift, I'll buy one. And I know that my sister will say to me, I don't want you buying me gifts because I don't want to feel I've got to buy you one back. I said, that's your problem. Yeah, I just like buying you gifts. So do me a favor, get over it. I'm going to continue. You don't get to tell me what to do. The fact you don't want me to doesn't mean that I have to stop being who I am. So I don't care if you throw it in the garbage. Or if you don't want it, donate it, do something. But do me a favor. I get great joy out of sending you a gift. So get over it. Beth saying, off topic, Sal, but my nails are growing now because I'm constantly wearing a mask. So to stop the habit of my chewing my nails. Good point. So I guess wearing a mask is not too bad. There is some good in it. What a great story, Beth. Thank you. I've got to tell you, Beth, it was really so cute. When Yvonne was helping me yesterday, I started to make a milkshake from almond milk and, the very expensive vanilla powder. And I said to Yvonne, do you want me to make you one? And she said, no, it's almond milk, isn't it? And I said, yeah, and you think that tastes nasty, right? I said, so did I. Funny thing is, almond milk with a bit of vanilla powder and it tastes like ice cream. So let me know if you'd like to try a sip before you judge it as harshly as you're doing. And she looked at me and said, you got away with the word, so. So she grabbed a straw and she stuck it in and she took a sip and she said, you're right. It tastes like ice cream. I said, exactly. But I said, not all almond milk. This particular one. And Marnie put me onto this one. And I love it. So I think the important thing that we all understand is that we are so busy wanting other people to change when maybe the change needs to be in us. Does that make sense to everybody? If I want to have community spirit here where I live, I better be that person, right? I better be creating a community in some way. right? I can't expect everybody else to want to do it. If I want community, I need to create it. I need to let them know that's what I want. Does anybody want to do it with me? You know? And I'm amazed how many people go, yeah. But we have to wait because the committee doesn't, we can't use the clubhouse and we can't do it. They kept telling me all the things we couldn't do. Now you know what I did with that. I said, right, now you're giving me about 10 things that we can't do. How about we start talking about what we can do? Even in the midst of a pandemic, even with the fact that, this, let's talk about what we can do, people. We're doing it Wednesday. Beth is saying maybe him being a saver and not a spender is perfect match for you. Yes, balance. You balance each other up. That's what I was saying. I always want somebody that complements me, not is the same as me. Always try to find the good in everything. Yeah. Be the change you wish to see, Alexis. Yes, it really, it is true. So whenever you see a lack in something, be the person that, he doesn't like to give gifts. Well, guess what? If he's never understood how you feel about getting gifts, you're presuming he's clairvoyant, right? Alexis, let me get this straight. I just want to make sure I understand this. Even though he never saw that happening in his own world, he is meant to know what it feels like to get a gift. You see, he didn't get gifts, so to him, it probably doesn't feel that good. I couldn't understand. Alexis, listen to this for a second. A very dear friend of mine kept telling me she hates Sundays. And I said, no, everybody has a good reason for stuff. So why do you hate Sundays? And she said, well, that was the day I was beaten every week. And I said, what? And she said, well, every week after church, her father would line up the children and would punish them for the things they had done wrong. And this friend of mine used to protect her siblings by saying that she had made the mistakes that they made. So she used to get not only punished for what she did, but for what they did as well. Every Sunday. How many of you can see that that's a pretty good way not to like Sundays? Beth is saying maybe his family was a spender and in debt, so he vowed to learn from their mistakes. That's a good thing. He will learn to balance through you. Yes, you're going to find compromise will bring balance. And Alexa says, totally agree, Beth. And actually, you're spot on. His family had a lot of debt. So he is a huge saver. Everybody has a good reason for doing what they do. What relationship is, in my view, is that we bother to find out why. Jeannie's saying, my parents always took us out for ice cream home in the summer. York's parents never did. I taught him to enjoy going out for an ice cream. Balance. I've always said to people that the most expensive gift you can give me is the gift of your time. I understand how expensive time is. And so, when Yvonne, first of all, said to me, what gift do you want for your birthday? I said, the gift of your time. Yes, Beth is reminding something that I say a lot. Seek to understand. Yeah. Seek first to understand. There is a reason why we do things. Why do you think I do Dear Mama Sal? Right? Do you think it's because I've got nothing better to do with my life? Like unpacking? When you think about it, everybody has a good reason. Why does Beth, even though she's got illnesses coming out of her gazoos and all sorts of reasons, why does Beth still be the Energizer Bunny? Right? There is a reason for that. Right? And why does Jody with all the pain that she's in, still put the funnies together for us and do all sorts of other things for Dear Mama Sal. Is it because it doesn't hurt her? No. It is because she wants to, right? And even though with everything going on with Lionel at the moment, she still wants to. You see, that's called motivation. Now, we know that although we know that Jodi's a pretty nice person, we know she isn't actually saintly that we know of, right? Therefore, does it make any sense to any of you that what Jodi gets out of putting the funnies together and looking after me during, the broadcast and everything gives her some level of peace and pleasure? Does that make sense? You see, she wouldn't do it otherwise. Right? It can't be for the money I pay her, that's for sure. Right? So when you think about it, we all have reasons for doing what we do. I am in awe of how many of you come to help one another every week when you have such busy lives. Thank you. On behalf of everybody that we have helped, thank you. Beth saying, because I lived in silence and darkness, I will never go back to that place. So I seek to understand, put myself first always, and communicate. Strive to be the best you can be. We are worth the work. Jeannie enjoyed the animal stories as well that we put in, Jodi put in for the Friday evening broadcast. Yes, I've had a feeling that we'd have some nice animal stories. So Emil says, yes, my mum never showed her feelings and her love, right? She used to buy me a real gold accessories, saying she loved me. But I told her not to give your money. I want you to show love. She used to give you money to buy what you want. You know something? My sister wouldn't let me hug her, right? She doesn't like intimacy. And, it was just like, I'm sorry, I'm a hugger. Just get over it. And I didn't grow up with my sister. She left home when, early, very early. And so we're very different people. Very different people. And so it's like, it's getting, after all these years, I'm in I'm about to be 73, and that means she's about to be 79 next year, and this is like, we're still trying to get that communication going. Super off topic. How long has it been since you quit smoking, Sal? I remember back in the day you were giving us updates on quitting. That's how long I've been watching you. 2012. I started Dear Mama Sal, and I quit smoking on January the 12th, 2013, because I quit smoking on my way down to meet Juliana. She was born in October, and I didn't go down until the January. And I quit at 9:00 on January the 12th, 2013. I can tell you exactly when I quit. I put on the patch. I remember that. Jodi's saying, Dear Mama Sal is part of my heart. She saved my life. And it's such a pleasure to be part of the broadcast every week. It's an honor. See? Jodi is a really nice person, but she's not that noble. She gets pleasure out of it. As well as, right? People who've been in long-term relationships get pleasure out of it to some degree. Otherwise, they wouldn't be together anymore. Yes, Emil. Emil is saying that, that because her mother's doing what her parents did to her. You see, it's up to us to change the cycle. It's up to us to change the cycle. It's not for them. They will continue to do what they were taught. But if I cannot tell you how many people I have spoken to in my years of helping people and said, please don't continue. I remember saying to one boyfriend, I pray, he had a young son. I said, I pray you don't teach your young son everything you know about women. And he said, I don't think that's a compliment. I said, it isn't. I genuinely pray you do not teach your son everything you know about women, because you will be repeating a cycle that I wouldn't recommend. So, it is, we can either be sheep. Amel, I want to go back to your question about science. If you really do not like science, if you really suck at science, it isn't that you're not trying, you need help. Either get somebody to help me, or I need to be able to drop the subject. Which would you prefer? Because I've tried really hard and I'm not hacking it. I don't understand it enough to be able to do well in it. And I know that your love is contingent on how well I do. So help me do well, or let me drop it. How about that, Emil? Do you understand where I'm? And it's okay to cry while you're telling her that. Let her see your pain. It's not that you don't want to do well. The problem is you forget. Well, no, the problem is, quite honestly, Emil, that you're not doing it in a way that you remember. And that's why you need somebody to help you remember things. I have taken children that were failing classes at school, ML, but what I did is I taught them in pictures so that when they went into the exam, they could see the whole picture, and the picture had everything they needed in it. Does that make any sense? You see, if you can remember the picture of all this information, you will not forget it, because you can, the whole picture comes up in your mind, and this bit is here, and the date is, no, it doesn't matter that you write it. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, let me try and explain something. How can I give an example of that? What I used to do is if I was teaching the children history, okay, and I wanted to teach them about a battle in history, I would first of all send one of the children up to the blackboard that I had in my house, and I go, okay, apparently where this battle was in your United States. So let's draw the United States, because that's where we have to start. And then I need a clock up there, a calendar up there. So draw a calendar. And could you put in June the 8th, 1866? I'm just making up a date. 1866. Put that in the calendar right there. Draw a calendar and mark off June. Yeah, Okay. Now, apparently there were two different groups of people. Let's have them two different sides of a river, just so that it makes an interesting picture. So we draw a river, and on that side, there were these people. On this side of the river, there were the other people. And, I'd keep building this picture. And then every week, they'd have to draw the picture. Amel, am I making any sense? When they went in to write the exam, what comes up in their mind is a picture of my blackboard with all the bits on it. Do they know what date that battle happened? You bet, because it's in the top right-hand corner. That's where the calendar was. Do they know where it was? Oh, of course, it was in the United States. It's the first thing we had to draw. Do you know who was on the north side of the river, even though they weren't? Yes. Do you know what they were wearing? Yes, because we colored it in. So you knew who the good guys were and the bad guys were. You understand? It was all part of one picture. No. Okay, so goodbye to Alexis. Good to have you here. All right, we'll be pleased to see you more often. So, Amel, what I'm trying to say to you is that a picture, they say that a picture paints 1,000 words. And what I would do, I've got a feeling that you are a creative person, in which case just learning stuff, doesn't do it for you. Just, reading a thing and trying to memorize it. I would start saying, I need to highlight 5 things about this chapter, right? 5 really important things. And I would draw that picture in your mind. And then if you can do that, then every chapter will become its own picture for you, and you will have the main parts of it. Does anybody else understand what I'm trying to say here? Because I am not a normal learner. I learn things by doing it and by seeing it. And as you know, by experimentation, right? I cook not because I measure. I cook because I found out if you chuck that much in, it tastes good. If you chuck in too much, it doesn't work. I don't read recipes. I've got them. I very rarely read them. I know people do, and they make wonderful food. I just can't cook that way. And I admire people who have that discipline, that they can follow it step by step by step by step, and they end up with brilliant meals. Yeah, I'm in awe. I get bored about the second instruction. Yes, Jeannie's saying, I want to watch somebody, then I can do it. Yeah. Whenever somebody comes in to fix something in my house, I will stand there and they go, yeah, I'll be fine. I go, no, I want to see how you do it. I want to learn. And you can actually talk your way through it if you like and teach me. Not that I will necessarily be able to do it, but at least I will have seen it done. It makes it so much more interesting. No, I don't think I do. Hang on a second, let me look that up. Sorry, just Emel's asking me something. I just want to check what that is. Oh, okay, it's a college bachelor's degree. Sorry. Yeah, that's an English one. All right, yes, Emel. Yep. Now, is that what you're doing? Or is that what you're aiming for? Okay. So it's a bachelor's degree in North America. They just call it something different. So everybody, I haven't got to, but I choose to get out of here. I want to thank you all for being here with us, and also for understanding that we never know who's listening. We never know who needs the help. We never know who needs the courage. We never know who needs the hug. What we do know is that if we keep coming and meeting together, that people will know that we're here. And as we have seen time and time again, when they need help, they know where to go. So Sandy, hold on a second, don't go anywhere. Sandy's saying, I need some good thoughts this week. My mom is traveling to Europe to deal with things over there from my dad passing. I'm very stressed and worried about her going. Sandy, is that going to help her? You being very stressed. Is that going to help your mom? All right, ready for the 2x4, Sandy. Is it okay for the 2x4? Because it is human nature for you to have some concern. Absolutely. So here's the thing, Sandy. It's like, it's not going to help her, you being stressed. You're just going to make yourself sick. So then she won't just have your daddy's stuff to deal with. She's going to have to deal with you as well. That is pretty selfish, Sandy. Okay. So the question I would have is, what support does your mom need? Because she must be pretty worried as well. So how about you acknowledge that what a wonderful risk, what wonderful courage she has to go and do this at a time when it's dangerous to travel. But she obviously feels that she has to do it, otherwise she wouldn't be doing it, right? And so I would get away from your stuff and ask your mom, how can, I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate how courageous you are to do it. I need to know, how can I best support you while you take this trip? I want to know, how can I best support you? Because I'm going to be there just a heartbeat away. We've given her a pile of masks and good and stuff. That's smart, all right? But what does she need in the way of support mentally, all right? Does she want to be in touch with you every day, or does she want you not to worry about her? You see, it may be that the more you worry about her, the more stressful it is for her. I don't know your mom, but the chances are she could be a pretty pragmatic person, that she's very matter of fact. And if she is that sort of person, the best support you can be, all right, is to be very matter of fact for her, right? She's not in the best of health. So she knows the risk, Sandy. She's not stupid. She knows the risk. So she doesn't need any more stress. Don't give her more stress. That would be, you can say, and that's truthful, it's pretty obvious, I'm a little concerned. Actually, let me be truthful on this one, Mom. I'm more than a little concerned. I'm a little bit scared. But I want to be strong for you so you can be strong. Okay? So let me know how I can best do that. She doesn't have a return date. Okay. So that means that if you have faith, if you believe that she will be safe, I think that's about the best thing you can do. And, at some stage in life, you have to trust God. All right. And I would pray for her, as Jeannie's saying, and everybody else will be saying, all right. I would pray for her safety. Isn't there a prayer that the soldiers, what prayer is it? One of the Psalms. Isn't it a psalm that the soldiers always read before they went into battle? I probably would print that out and give it to her. Does anybody know which one it is? Okay, hang on, let me find out. Hold on. Hang on a second. Soldier's Prayer. Okay, hold on 1 second. There it is. I'll have it back with you in a heartbeat. All right. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to read it just for people, and then I'm going to stop the broadcast, but I am going to read it because it is important. It says, and this is the prayer, I have fought when others feared to serve. I have gone where others failed to go. I have lost friends in war and strife who valued duty more than love of life. I have shared the comradeship of pain. I have searched the lands for men that we have lost. I have sons who serve this country of liberty, who would fight to see that other stricken lands are free. I have seen weak, forsaken humanity. I have heard the traitors praise our enemy. I have seen challenged men become even bolder. I have seen duty honor the sacrifice of the soldier. Now I understand the meaning of our lives, the loss of our comrades not so very long ago. So to you who have answered duty's siren call, may God bless you, my son. May he bless you all. You see, it's about, that's not the one I was thinking of. I don't think. Let me just double check this. Ah, here it is. As I read that, I'm going, no, I don't think that's the one. If you actually Google a soldier's prayer, there are a lot of variations of it. And what I'm saying is, what she's doing is going to do battle. Psalm 91. Thank you very much. Psalm 91. Sandy, look up Psalm 91. So, to me, it's, let me just quickly get it. Thank you, Jody. There it is, Psalm 91. Oh, yeah, I thought it was a bit short. All right, let's try this one. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, and you will make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overcome you, no disaster will come near your tent. Nor will He command His angels concerning you to guard you. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With a long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. So, Sandy, do you understand? I think that is what you can do, is to hold your mother in safety, right? Not in fear. Hold her in safety. Okay, so I'm going to you'll be in constant contact. Yeah, but don't scare the life out of her. She's already doing that for herself. Tell her how you admire what she is doing for the family. All right? Tell her that you know she knows the risk she is taking and that she still wants to do it. That's pretty courageous stuff. That's like going into battle. And also say to her that you understand that there's a possibility that she may not come back. But if this is the last thing she wants to do in her life, you understand that too. Right? There you go, Emil. Just Google Psalm 91. Thank you, Jody, yet again for saving my bacon on that one. I knew as I was reading the other one, I'm going, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. Anyway, so everybody, this is an amazing chance for us all to just go, we can't change anybody else. We can only change ourselves. If we are scared stiff for other people, we're not helping them. We're being very selfish. The way we help other people is to give them the courage to do what they need to do. Emil, I pray for you to find the courage to talk to your mother and tell her the truth. And the truth is, Mom, I either need help or the ability to drop this subject. Yeah, I really, it's not that I'm not trying. I just don't understand it enough to be able to do well in it. So I need somebody who can help me understand it. And I may even have to drop it for a while just to be able to catch up. But this is not working. And I am going to end up so frightened of taking this exam again for fear of disappointing you. Right? I get those words out, for fear of disappointing you. It is breaking my heart because I know how disappointed you are that I'm not doing well, but it's not that I'm not trying. I just don't understand enough. Okay, honey, so keep talking about it. And everybody, big thoughts and prayers to you all. Have a wonderful week. Make it as good as you possibly can. This is DearMamaSal saying, remember to look after one another. But of course, as I always say, please start by looking after yourself. Let us not try and fix everybody else. Let us fix ourselves. And by that, we will grow. This is DearMamaSal saying, thanks, Jody, for all that you do. Thank you all for being here to help. And thank you for all of you that came in to help one another. This is DearMamaSal saying, bye-bye for now. Have a great week.